Whoa, stop. Is that non-organic milk? Huh? Milk is milk. What are you on about? Nope, not in this house. 2026 is the year for organic milk. It's better for your body and for the environment. But isn't all milk the same? Not at all. Organic milk comes from cows that aren't fed or treated with antibiotics or hormones. Happier cows means better milk. And not only that, but less synthetic feed means healthier land. Here, try it. Your coffee will taste so much nicer and you'll feel better for it knowing you're making a more responsible choice. Okay, that is much smoother. Trying it in my coffee is the ultimate test. You know how much coffee I drink. Okay, wow, I am impressed. I guess I'm gonna have to start buying organic milk from now on. You're welcome.
Okay, if you don't like slapping noises, I have to apologize. I could hear them. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But this is not about misophonia. It's about organic foods. You know, the kind of foods that make people go, if it's not organic, it's toxic. You have to switch to all natural if you want to kickstart your metabolism. Hormone-free is the only way to be fat-free. Or like she said, not in this house. We don't do non-organic in this house. And that's because we've been told that if we really want to be healthy, if we really want to lose weight, we have to ditch conventional produce. And that applies to both plants and animal-based foods. And we have been taught to fear the synthetic pesticides, the hormones, and the antibiotics because we have been led to believe that these chemicals cause inflammation in our bodies. And that makes it harder for us to lose weight. So we spend double our grocery budget on these cleaner and organic foods that are the exact same foods that are in the conventional foods aisle, but we prefer these ones. We buy the organic cookies because they feel safer. We choose the organic butter because it feels more natural. And then we step on the scale, you know, for weight loss. And then we're shocked when it does not move. But then our bank balances definitely budge. So is an organic apple actually better for your waistline? Or are we buying into a premium version of a weight loss secret that actually does not work? Today we're going to peel back the label on the organic myth. Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Daisy aka D. I'm here to help you stop complicating and overpaying for your weight loss journey. And today's myth is one that I constantly hear online and also in my Better in 90 program. And that is you have to eat organic foods if you want to lose weight the healthy way. And as a result of this, many women come to me at the start of their weight loss journeys and they feel that they're not even able to start their diets because they cannot afford to eat these organic foods. And they start feeling like they have already failed their diets even before they have tried because they do not even have what it takes to actually begin this journey. But the reality is, as much as organic food has so many perks for us, for our bodies, for the environment, and so on, it is not this magic weight loss trick that people think it is. Let's talk about the calorie copycat effect, why your body cannot tell the difference between organic and regular vitamins and minerals, and the health halo trap when it comes to organic foods that might actually be causing you to gain weight. Let's face off the organic and conventional produce. First, we need to separate food safety from weight loss because the two have often been intertwined such that people think that they are not separate issues, but they are. While people can choose organic foods for a variety of reasons, including caring for the environment, caring for their bodies, caring about animals, the mother of weight loss remains the same regardless of whether you're eating organic or conventional produce. And that brings us to part one, which is the calorie truth. The most important thing that I'll say in this video is that organic foods are not inherently lower in calories as may have been implied in previous videos that you might have seen. If you take an organic Honeycrisp apple and compare it to a conventional Honeycrisp apple, you will find that they have similar amounts of sugar, similar amounts of fiber, and as you may have guessed, similar amounts of calories. We can even say the same amount of calories per gram. And this means that if you eat them in the same quantities, then your body will extract energy from them in the same way. And while we can argue that the organic option might be better for you, the environment, and animals, it really will not change how your body absorbs the calories in both options. And this brings us to part two when it comes to nutrients, because people will often say that, you know, the organic foods taste healthier, they're better, they have been grown in soil that is not full of synthetic pesticides. These animals have grown up in loving homes and they are not stressed, and that means that the milk tastes better, like you had her slapping that milk and saying that it tastes actually better in her coffee. And this brings about this idea that the nutrients in organic foods are actually of better quality compared to the ones in conventional foods. And people even think that the vitamins and minerals, the nutrients in these organic foods can actually help them kickstart their metabolism. But actually, the research shows that the nutritional profiles in organic and conventional foods are almost identical. And when they have broken these foods down to their fiber, vitamins, and minerals, they have found that both of these foods provide the same essential nutrients that your body needs to thrive. But this does not stop people from making videos such as these.
If your cart looks like this, I'm guessing you're constantly flipping things over, Googling ingredients, and wondering what's actually okay. I used to do that too, and it's exhausting. That's why I started buying more organic. That organic seal already means it meets some of the strictest standards. No synthetic pesticides, no sketchy additives, no hormones or antibiotics, no GMOs, so I don't have to overthink every label. It's not about being perfect, it's just way less stressful in the grocery aisle.
Did you notice that when she was talking about conventional foods, she actually went and chose some of the most processed foods that she could find? Not that processed is a bad thing if you saw my previous videos, but you can see that she went and bought Cheerios and Triscuits and Brahmi protein, pasta, and fruit snacks. What are these? They are cereals. These are processed foods. But when she started talking about eating organic, she actually goes to the organic aisle that features produce, actual produce, foods that will fall into group 1, minimally processed foods. Yeah, whole foods. And she goes and picks up apples and such vegetables and fruits. It's like, why didn't she just go and pick up like organic processed cereals or whatever? Like, it's just the contrast. The contrast got to me. And if she had done that, we'll be able to move on to that point quite swiftly. And that's when we talk about the health halo trap that comes about when we start talking about organic and conventional foods. And also, this is where it gets tricky when it comes to weight loss. The thing is, because people perceive organic as being healthier, cleaner, safer, and all of these things, they subconsciously start thinking that the food is lower in calories. And studies have even shown that people tend to overeat foods that they consider to be organic for these very reasons. And they think that, it's organic, it's a pack of chips, but these are organic. They are not like those non-organic foods that you'll buy in the store, which means that if I have another handful, there's no problem if I do that. It's organic food, right? It's safe, it's clean, it's probably the best thing I'll eat this week. But organic sugar is still sugar, organic fat is still fat, and organic calories, like we saw, are still calories. And that means if you start overeating organic snacks and foods because you think that they are diet friendly, you're likely to end up in a calorie surplus because your body does not really process these calories differently, and the scale will go up. Now let's talk about what we can do when it comes to navigating this world of organic and non-organic foods, conventional produce. As much as there is a lot of fear out there, and I will not even try to downplay the fact that conventional produce is very controversial, especially in this age of mass production. I understand that food manufacturers and, even farmers have to meet this very high demand of food. And that means that sometimes they have to do things that are not exactly ethical in order to meet the demand that's out there. I know that many animals actually live in deplorable conditions. I know that some of the plants that we're eating have been sprayed with all sorts of chemicals that are not healthy for us or even for the environment. Like, if that sludge gets into the rivers, it's another story on its own. So I'm not going to downplay the fact that conventional produce has many problems that we need to deal with, many problems that authorities need to look into. But that said, when we're not talking about the systemic issues and all of that, I will say that in my Better in 90 program, I tend not to get lost in the noise of what's safer, what's cleaner, what's better for the environment. It's a lot to think about, and I don't want to place that on my clients. Instead, I tell them, you should just buy the fruits and vegetables that you can afford. And that means if you have the budget for eating organic produce and it makes you feel good, then great, you can do that. But if you don't have the budget to go out there and buy organic apples, organic spinach, organic products overall, whether it's animal-based products or it's plants, then you should not let that stop you from eating produce, because whole foods are good, minimally processed foods are good, regardless of whether they are organic or conventional, because as we have seen, when researchers look at the nutritional profiles of these foods, they find that they are the same. Yes, some may have been sprayed down with pesticides, and some may have been grown in some of the best conditions ever, but when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the nutritional profile and the calories, these foods are very similar to each other. What's more, weight loss is not really about whether you're eating organic or conventional. It comes down to whether you're being consistent with your healthy goals. And here are my strategies when it comes down to navigating this whole debate between organic and conventional foods. First, you need to focus on the quantity and the quality over the labels. When it comes down to eating food, eating more servings of conventional foods compared to eating none of organic foods because you cannot afford the organic foods, or for some reason you're not able to access the organic foods, you're better off eating the conventional produce. For example, if it comes down to eating 5 heads of broccoli over 0 of the organic broccoli, then the person eating the 5 heads of the conventional broccoli is actually investing in their health. And that means instead of focusing on how your foods are grown, which I get is important, it's much better to focus on getting your nutrients in, whether that's organically or conventionally. Secondly, you need to watch out for the organic junk. And this is a problem that has been growing, because when we say organic can mean very many things. Many people are able to label their products as organic, but these foods are not like 100% organic, because according to the laws in different countries, food manufacturers are able to label their products as organic as long as they meet a certain quota. In the US, I read that that's as long as 95% of the ingredients used in a product are organic, then the food manufacturer can say that their food is organic. But aside from that, we have said that these foods still have calories, and depending on how processed they are, if you refer to my previous video, a food can be organic, technically organic, but it can be very high in calories. So just because you see the non-GMO or organic label on a food product, that does not mean that it's healthy or that it is low in calories. So it's important to read the labels and look at the nutritional profile of the food, the calories, and the serving sizes. This will help you understand whether this is something that you want to include more in your weight loss journey. And finally, manage your budget in a way that is sustainable. Like we always say, when it comes down to weight loss, you want to choose something that you can stick to in the long run. This is not a diet. This is a lifestyle that you're going to commit to in the long run. And that means if you're buying organic foods and it's making your grocery bill so high that it is unsustainable, you are unlikely to stick with this in the long run. And that means that you are likely to give up on it at some point. Or else you might continue with it, but this will have a spillover effect on some of your other financial goals, which is not great, because weight loss should be something that is sustainable and enjoyable. And most importantly, this is something that you can achieve even when eating conventional produce. Without getting into the politics of food production, which could be 10 videos on their own, we can say that organic food can be a great choice, not just for the planet, but also for your peace of mind. So if you can access organic food and you're willing to foot the bill when it comes to eating these kinds of foods, then that is a great option. However, eating organic food is not a requirement for you to lose weight. So do not let the clean eating gurus online or even other health and wellness influencers tell you that the reason you're not losing weight is because you're eating regular groceries, because as we have seen, when it comes down to calories and nutrients, these foods are the same. And most importantly, when it comes to weight loss, what matters most is consistency. And the way for you to achieve this is to choose the kind of produce that you're able to eat a lot of and frequently without breaking the bank. So are you a die-hard organic shopper, or are you happy with the regular produce? Let's settle this in the comments, and give this video a thumbs up if you're ready to start saving some money this week, or if you're willing to continue buying organic foods. And don't forget to subscribe for next week's meet. I'll see you in the next one.